What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm here to review Love and Marriage DC. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I did not watch season 1. I don't plan on going back to watch season 1, so I'm starting with season 2. I know that episode 1 aired last week, so I'm going to touch on a few things about episode 1 and then trickle on down to episode 2 because this is season 2. Let's jump right on into the show. First things first, we already know that Monique and her husband Chris, they are not going to be on season 2 of this show. However, I don't think any of the cast members got the memo that they weren't going to be on the show this season, because at the top of the show, we talked about how they were going to possibly get a divorce. They also talked about how Erina and Jamie, they were going to have a party for their son Jason because he's going to be moving out and going to go do some type of program. And they were like, Monique, she should be here. All this stuff. And I'm just like, how did they not know that they are not on the cast anymore? Maybe it was a lot of things that were up in the air when it came to Monique and Chris, and everybody thought that they were just going to be back for the second season. Nonetheless, really I want to talk about this issue that little Jamie and Jamie has. Because, okay, I didn't watch season 1, so I have no idea what was discussed previously. However, this man is 26 years old. Okay, and I really need for him to figure it out, because your parents cannot help you for the rest of your life. Not in that way. Like, they cannot carry you for the rest of your life. Like, I just wonder, what happened? It's crazy because he's coming from this 2-parent household, and y'all already know. For some reason, everybody's like, because I want my kids to have this 2-parent household, all this stuff. And I'm just like, well, sheesh, is it not what it's all cracked up to be? Because how did this kid go down such a bad path that he's gotten to the point where he got a speeding ticket and he wants his dad to pay for it and is upset that his dad won't help him pay for it? Like, sir, you're a grown man. You don't have a job. Your dad is paying you money every week. And then on top of that, he's like, well, I had to pay $120 to my parole officer. Okay, you need to make it work. I just feel like there's way too many ways for people to make money nowadays. You can't come to me saying, oh my gosh, I can't make any money. You can't do DoorDash? Because there was some mention about him, getting this speeding ticket, which means that you have a car. You can't do Uber? You can't do DoorDash? Are you too good for those things? I'm just so confused here. So let me go ahead and move on, because we're going to circle back to them for episode 2. Now, Clifton and Joy. I watched Ready to Love their season. I do not care for Joy because of that reunion. And Clifton, I didn't really care for him either, because he was just not my type of person, especially after he played that other girl who was dating him on the show. Now, on this show, I feel like they were coming in real extra, when they were doing that stuff on the bed. I was like, y'all gotta cut that out. We also learned that he now has a beard oil line. Since when was anybody checking for Clifton like that? What was his job for Ready to Love? Because it had nothing to do with him being an entrepreneur. I guess Joy is no longer singing on the Carnival cruise or at some resort in Mexico. But now they're trying to go move into this big fancy house. I'm like, okay, both y'all jobs does not equate to this big old house. So someone make it make sense for me as to why they are moving into a whole new place, as if Clifton House ain't big enough. I just think that's stupid. But you know what? Nonetheless, let me go ahead and move on real quick. So we get to Jace'S Party. That's what I really want to talk about. Jace'S Party, I think it was really nice. I loved how the family got emotional about seeing him make this transition, because as we already know, he has he has a disability. I believe he's blind. I'm not sure if there's anything else going on, but I just happened to notice that he was blind. And of course, we have to talk about little Jamie yet again, because he wasn't there at first. He finally showed up, and his dad has a conversation with him. And that is where it went downhill, because I just feel like that conversation could have been had at a different time, not at this party. But we already know how production goes. While you're having this party, we gotta stir some mess up. So at some point, little Jamie sent Big Jamie a text, and it was clearly a not good text or whatever, and Jamie is trying to confront him about it. Little Jamie is not understanding where his dad is coming from at all, so he got mad that he didn't get this job. And I'm giving both of them a side eye because you already knew that your son had a record. So why are you out here playing, having him apply for a job? You know, you knew he wasn't going to get it. But, I mean, I feel like he's going to be going through that for a while because he has a record. Like, let's be honest, it is very hard for people who have some type of record to find a decent job that makes a decent wage. And I just feel like I'm going to need for little Jamie to, you know, put his big boy pants on and apply to the next job. Like, I understand where Jamie was coming from when he's like, you have to keep it moving, which is true. Because especially nowadays, the way jobs are set up, you're not going to always get the first one that you apply to. I know some people, they've had to apply to multiple jobs until they finally got hired. So I'm just going to need for him to, like, simmer down a little bit. Like, and then the fact that he keeps talking about how, you know, he's becoming this better person and how, you know, he passed the drug test. And it's like, yeah, I understand that's like a little milestone for you, but in the grand scheme of things, that's the bare minimum that you could do. Because if you wanted a decent job, you were going to have to pass a drug test anyway. Actually, I'll take that back. I should not say a decent job, but there are still places that will drug test you. So clearly this conversation, it was not going to go anywhere good. Jamie was very, very expressive, and he was pissed off that his son was acting like this. The son is pissed off because he feels like his dad doesn't understand him, doesn't hear him. So he ends up storming off into the house. Or, I'm sorry, into the penthouse where this party was. Which reminds me, that penthouse, I didn't realize it was going to be, like, just an apartment. That was kind of weird. Nonetheless, Jamie said something that stuck out to me when he was going back into the place. And he was like, you know... No, it was in his confessional. He was like, you know, we basically raised these kids, these 90s kids, to feel entitled because we were kids from the 70s and our parents didn't have much. They couldn't give us everything. So once we became adults, we had children, we decided we were going to give our kids everything, and now they're entitled. And to be honest, he's not lying when it comes to that. Like, I feel like my generation, because I was born in the 90s, we were the kids who grew up getting every pair of Jordans. We were the kids that grew up with champagne parties for prom. We had the latest phones. We had to have the latest this, the latest that. And unfortunately, our parents kind of spoiled us. And they spoiled us to the point where we didn't realize that once we stepped out into the real world, things are not going to be handed to us like that from everybody else. And also, at a certain point, our parents were not going to continue to take care of us the way they had been throughout our entire childhood. So like I said, I understand where Big Jamie was coming from. Also, another thing that I want to point out about little Jamie, he was mentioning how he doesn't ask the family for anything, even though Jamie is like, well, I give you $100 every week. And then he also was like, well, you know, I could have just asked Granny for the money. Here's the problem. You're still asking other people for money instead of trying to figure out how you can make it on your own. And that is what your dad is trying to get through your head. Especially the fact that when he was on that balcony, he called him a fool. And Jamie was like, oh, I'm a fool now? I'm a fool? I said, baby, if them cameras wasn't there, I think they was really going to be like throwing down on the balcony. Okay? Now, here's where messy production is. Because little Jamie seemed like he was leaving, and then Jamie was going back to the party. Why did somebody come up to Big Jamie and was like, you need to come outside and talk to little Jamie? And he was just sitting down there talking to a producer. I said, oh, okay, so the producers was ready to stir it up again. Now, this is where we start on episode 2, y'all. So, Big Jamie come out there. They start to argue, and they look like they about to have a fight. And here's the thing. Little Jamie, I feel like he was definitely trying to test his dad. But Big Jamie was like, you not about to do this to me. You not about to come over here and beat me up. So they try to separate them. At one point, you had Quick getting involved. I said, where'd you come from? Speaking of Quick, real quick, I forgot to mention how on the first episode, and how him and his wife were talking about how she shouldn't be waking up their 14-year-old to get up for school. I'm just like, y'all ain't got nothing going on. Clearly, if that's the argument that y'all want to have on TV. Also, I did not like the fact that they were throwing their friends' kids under the bus. Like, when they were like, yeah, because, little Jamie, he got arrested for robbery when he was like 15 years old. I'm like, yo, these supposed to be your friends. You don't say this type of stuff on national TV. But then also, it added to the point that little Jamie has been wilding out since he was a teenager. And I honestly feel like because he came from a good background, he was probably one of those kids who was like, I'm going to rebel against my family. I want to live that hood life even though I was raised in suburbia. Because that definitely happens. Nonetheless, let's go ahead back to this whole little separation of the men. So like I said, Quick goes over there trying to talk to little Jamie. He really didn't want to hear nothing that Quick had to say. Before that, Erina was talking to little Jamie like, you not about to fight your dad. Like, you basically shut all of us out, and you can't keep doing that. Now, here's the thing. He was really trying to stress to his mom about how he's changing as a person and how he passed this drug test. And again, sir, that is the bare minimum that you can do. Now, what's crazy is that at the same time that little Jamie is expressing himself, you have Big Jamie over there talking to anybody who will listen about how his son ain't about to put hands on him and how he's tried his best, but these 90s kids be acting up. That was his whole point. And he was going off about how little Jamie is entitled. And I was like, yeah, he is a brat for sure. Now, that is enough of that party. Let's go ahead and move along, because the next thing we saw was Winter. Now, y'all, I don't know much about Winter, but clearly I have learned that she does not like Ashley and Erina. So, baby girl's in the studio. She's singing something. What it was, I don't know. I think that she's definitely going to need some vocal help. She needs a vocal coach and probably some auto-tune. I was not here for it. So then comes someone by the name of Sherelle. She comes in, and I can't lie, I was thrown off when she came in, and the way she grabbed the producer and kissed him. I was like, please let that be her man. And it is her husband. So Sherelle and Winter, they are having this conversation about the song. Come to find out, the song is dedicated to the Gutter Barbies. And who are the Gutter Barbies? Ashley and Erina. Now, I ain't never heard nobody be called a Gutter Barbie, but it's hilarious. It is. Now, Sherelle, she was honest. She was upfront. She's like, listen, I'm going to tell these girls that you made a song about them. And now Winter, she tells her, well, I have tried to make amends with these girls, but they don't want to, talk to me. She also talks about how she has tea on Erina's kids. And Sherelle's like, nah, I don't want to hear that. That's too much because I'm already in the middle of this. So here we have Sherelle. She's going to be the middleman between Erina and Ashley and Winter. So we're going to see her probably try to bounce back and forth and be a friend to both parties. I'm like the girl that never works out for anybody, so you need to go ahead and pick a side. So we move on to Ashley. She's at a local morning show, and she's there to promote her book. I don't know much about Ashley. Why does she have a book? What's going on with her that was worthy of writing a book? I'm trying to understand here. Because I feel like, is she like a housewife or something? Does Ashley have a job, y'all? I'm just curious. Nonetheless, they even asked her about Monique. And you can tell that she's over it. Because, again, she's trying to promote her book. But, girl, Monique Samuels has a larger name than Ashley Silva. So, yeah, people are going to ask about Monique Samuels and if her and her husband are going to be getting a divorce. So she's like, I haven't talked to her in like a week, so I don't know what's going on. And I wonder, was there any truth to her actually having a conversation with Monique a week ago? Because it sounds like Monique has been MIA from the cast for a while. Now, let's go ahead and move on to Erina and Jamie. So they talk about what happened at Jace'S Party, and she feels like Big Jamie and Little Jamie, they need to talk to somebody who don't know either one of them. So basically, they need to go have some type of therapy session. I agree, because their issues seem to run very deep, but also at the same time, I'm going to need for Erina to have a few therapy sessions with her son as well. Because it's not like he only has problems with his dad. The boy seems like he got problems with everybody. So we need to figure out what's the root of that issue first. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, he just seemed like he a lot. Let's go ahead and move on because, nothing really happened in that scene. So Ashley, she is getting ready to send out her PR boxes, right, with her books. All right, cool. I think she was talking to her friend. Who was her friend? Alicia? Yeah, I think her friend name was Alicia. Now, she talks about how her mom left her when she was like 16 years old so that she could be with her boyfriend. And she hopes that her mom will read the book and see where she's coming from. And I'm just like, wait a second. Your mom just up and left? Like, who leaves their child for a man? Like, I'm sorry. I cannot stand hearing stories about how women put men before their children. I don't care if your child was 16 years old. She was still underage, lady. Like, how dare you leave your child so you can chase some man around? I just have a serious problem with that. And I actually felt really bad for Ashley because clearly that has affected her and it's still probably affecting her. And then the part where she mentioned how, her mom doesn't want to be seen a certain way, to like probably her church friends and her like Facebook friends. But it's like, lady, that's what you did. Like, you literally left your children so that you could chase a man around. I'm sorry, that's the truth. Or at least I can say that is Ashley's truth. I'm not sure how this woman feels. But I'm pretty sure that we're going to get a scene or at least a conversation between her and Ashley. And that is what I really want to see because I want to hear this woman's explanation for that. So her and her friend, they end up getting some stupid friendship tattoo or whatever. It was like, I think it was a smiley face or something. Yeah, whatever. So they talk about Joy. Oh, I forgot to mention this. On the first episode, Joy was so excited to tell these ladies about how she was going to be a part of a Ready to Love panel that would be with, I want to say, Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey, like their foundation. And it was supposed to be for single women who were moms. Yeah, it was single mothers. And Ashley and April are like, how are you going to talk to single mothers about finding love, but you're not a mom? So how does that make sense? And even Ashley, she chimed in and was like, as a woman who has always, been with my partner as far as raising kids, I would not know how to, have that type of conversation because I didn't live that life. I didn't come from being a single mom and then trying to find love. And I understood where she was coming from. I understood where April was coming from. And I feel like Joy was just happy that she was even asked to be a part of it. She's going to go ahead and do the panel. And I definitely think that she thought she was just, telling the girls, oh my gosh, look at what I'm going to be doing. Like, let's celebrate Joy for a moment. And they shut that down. Now, Erina, she didn't feel like it was that big of a deal. But April and Ashley, they definitely had questions, for sure. So when we later saw Joy and Erina meet up on this episode, Erina basically told Joy, like, listen, if you feel like they were coming at you a certain way, go ahead and have a conversation with them. Let them know how you feel. And Joy even expressed how Cliff, he felt some type of way because he basically felt like the girls were ganging up on Joy. And him being a man, it's not like he can jump in and be like, y'all not about to be coming at Joy like this. Y'all already know. They would have like, you need to stay out of women's business. And that would have been a whole thing. So we'll see if Joy has this conversation with the ladies. All right, now let's jump on over to this pink party that Ashley threw. I have no idea what the theme was. Besides, ladies, put on your tackiest outfit wearing pink. I feel like that had to have been it because Ashley's outfit was a mess. Erina comes strolling in with a custom jacket that says Gutter Barbie on it. Now, according to her in the confessional, her and Ashley made a nice little coin off of making some Gutter Barbie shirts. Whatever. Joy comes strolling in with a hot pink dominatrix outfit. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, Sherelle strolls in with a pink bridal veil and a pink bodysuit on. I said, what is happening? Like, I don't know what was the description of the outfit choices that these ladies could have had, but it is all over the place, okay? So, you have Ashley, she's trying to introduce Joy and Sherelle to each other. But Joy kind of makes this face about Sherelle or whatever because she knows her husband. Come to find out, Joy was in some group called, what was it, Mambo Sauce? Now, she has blamed that woman's husband for bad decisions in the band. She said that he just, basically halted a lot of things in her career. Yeah, she is definitely not feeling whoever Sherelle's husband is, because he's supposed to be some type of producer. And I'm like, well, girl, if he working with Winter, clearly his career ain't going nowhere either. But nonetheless, according to the trailer, we gonna see those two get into it at some point, and I cannot wait for that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about how Sherelle goes to talk to Ashley. And she's letting her know about the Gutter Barbie song. She wants to be honest in this friendship. She tells her that her husband is the person who's supposed to be writing this song, but her husband would never write anything that's like negative or anything. So Ashley is kind of like, oh my gosh, whatever. This is typical Winter behavior. And Sherelle is like, well, Winter, she actually wants to make amends with you guys. Ashley ain't interested. Ashley don't care. Ashley does not want any parts of trying to be Winter's friend. She has no interest. Now, y'all, again, I did not watch season 1, so I don't know why. But I'm going to keep watching because they just probably going to regurgitate the same information from last season. So, Ashley, she goes back to the group because they're all standing around. And she tells them about how, this is what's going on with Winter. She has a song called Gutter Barbies and all this stuff. Now, in Erina's confessional, she's like, I feel like Sherelle is playing both sides. She absolutely is. Now, the thing is that she's trying to be upfront and be like, oh, well, Winter told me this about this song that she has that's about you guys, so I'm letting you know now. I'm giving you a heads up. And then whatever Ashley and Erina say, she's going to go back and tell Winter. It's like, girl, you're in a bone collector. And honestly, that's not the place that you want to be because it never works out. Like, at some point, you're going to have to make a choice who you want to be friends with. Now, at one point, Sherelle was talking to the ladies outside, and, like, she was trying to say, you know, the ladies having beef, that has nothing to do with her. She's going based off of the friendships and how friendships matter to her. Now, all the girls is looking at her sideways, but she's still going on and on. So, Erina, she was like, did she mention how she DM'd me? And Sherelle was like, yeah, but I didn't want to hear any type of receipts that she had on your kids. But she does tell Erina that she should talk to Winter. So that's what happens. Winter and Erina meet up. Now, Winter, she really wanted to talk to Erina. She wished that she would have DM'd her back. Erina ain't checking for her. She's like, you know, Winter, you've come at me on different occasions, rather it be on your live, on a TV show, like you come at me all types of ways. So when it came down to Winter DMing Erina, she did not respond because she felt like Winter was being messy again, being her typical self. So Winter was like, well, the information that came out, it was about your disabled son. And she also told Erina that she needs to go ahead and check her circle because somebody is going around saying things about her. Now, Winter, she actually reads out what was said because Erina was like, no, you can go ahead and read it to me. The person said that the Tylers are pretending to take care of Jason and that they shipped him off somewhere. He basically aged out of whatever program he was at. So that's when he had to come back home. And they also said that I guess one of their mothers have moved back into the house. So they're, you know, Jace's grandmother. That they basically moved back in. So that way Jamie and Erina can run the streets. Okay. That's a lot to unpack there. Because again, y'all, I ain't watched season 1. I don't know these people at all. Now, the first thing is how she mentioned that they shipped Jason off somewhere. Now, my question is this. Y'all do not come for me. Was Jason in some type of program where they provided special attentive care for him or something? Like, you know how they have, like, the children's hospital? Because, again, I don't know all of Jason's disability. I don't know if it's just blindness or if there's other things. I'm not sure. But, you know, like, they have, like, the children's hospital. And, like, different places that they provide 24-hour care for kids with disabilities and nurses and all types of things like that. Is it a situation like that? Or what? Because, I'm sorry, that's a heavy accusation. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, is there a reason for someone to even spread that type of rumor? And then for them to be like, oh, the grandmother moved in so that Jamie and Erina can run the street. Here's the thing. I ain't trying to be funny, but all their kids are grown. What do you mean run the street? You said that as if they have little ones. They don't have 10 and unders. Like, what are you talking about? Jason is still a grown man. I'm pretty sure he will be okay. Like, there are people who are blind who get around daily, okay? I don't know, I just found that to be very interesting. So I really want to know what Erina's response is going to be next week to that information. You guys, let me know what y'all thought about this episode or what y'all thought about Love and Marriage DC. You think it's going to be a good season or not? If you want to give me any details about these people, because I swear I don't know nothing about them because I did not watch the first season. And again, I'm not going back to watch. Yeah, drop that type of information down below. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.